I would bet like May or maybe like early or like late April. Like I feel like those are around the times because that's like kind of leading into E3 season. There's obviously going to be like a big Summer Games Fest thing or something Jeff Keighley oriented to kind of like soak up the summer months. Where I think maybe like more information could be given or like maybe the games could be a little bit more dived into, a little bit more specific state of plays. But I don't know, because the last one we just had one, so like it wouldn't be immediately.
Well,
right?
we had a
We didn't have a showcase. We didn't have a showcase. As far as like a proper PlayStation showcase, dude, I don't even know, dude. That is like, I'm not even convinced it's E3. I'm not even convinced we're gonna see one this year. Like I feel like they've been so. When was the last PlayStation showcase?
2021.
Yeah. Right? So like what's even, I mean, it feels like ages ago. We've gotten many state of plays. We've gotten some state of plays that were really good, some state of plays that were really like some really singular minded focused showcases. But like, I don't know, a proper PlayStation showcase, I feel like, I don't know.
How could it not be soon? I mean, it's been so long. Like that's why I think it has to be this year.
Well, maybe the idea is that they feel like they don't need to do that anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the same thing with E3, where it's like, you know, E3 happens once a year, and E3 happens once every year until it doesn't. You know, and then like, you know, you had the PlayStation Showcase with that kind of coincided with, you know, a bunch of stuff. Whereas now it's like, I guess. What lends to your argument is the fact that we don't really know much about the future, and like there's really only 3 things that we know for sure are coming, in the form of obviously Wolverine, Spider-Man, and factions in some way. So I guess there is room for a showcase to kind of shed some light on the further future, on some of the stuff that we don't know about, or even some of the stuff that we've heard whispers about but don't really have concrete information on. And in that case, I don't know. I feel like you're more likely to hear about this after E3 or like E3. What do we call
June? We just call it June now.
Yeah, like summer. Sometime after that summer games kind of information drive. Like maybe like I'm thinking like maybe August or like maybe September for like a showcase. And that's like
I think it's too late.
I think that's a far cry. I don't know, man, because like what else? What's left?
Well, because I think they have to really show Spider-Man, and I think that's got to happen in like some real way.
Well, do we know when Spider-Man's coming out?
This year.
Well, yeah, but we don't like know.
When do I think Spider-Man's coming out? The same day Starfield's coming out, but we're gonna talk about that in a little while. But yeah, I don't. Well, I'm curious, Dustin. Let's get your take before we move on. I mean, what do you think is going to be there, or when do you think this is going to happen? I know that I think Jeff Grubb has reported that it's going to happen in May. He's typically right about things. Things are very flexible. There have been a lot of reports about Sony events that have not happened. So, and I think that things are a little bit in stasis because I think they don't want to make themselves look bad during the Activision situation as well by talking about exclusive games, even if they're more legitimate exclusive games, not your Final Fantasy 16s. But I think they need to, I personally believe, Dustin, that they need to have some sort of big pop. I feel like there is some sort of malaise in the hardcore base. And I think that the sales show a very strong, I mean, the sales for PS5 are through the roof right now, murdering hundreds of % year over year up with new games coming out and the availability of it. And I think that they got to keep that momentum going by showing the games. We just simply don't know enough about future games. And so that's why I think, well, I appreciate Chris's opinion. I just don't agree at all. I feel like it would be fucking catastrophic if they didn't have something to say in the next 90 days, you know, like, because we are literally floating through a space where we just don't even know anything. Spider-Man 2, 2023. Okay. Faction sometime. We have Helldivers 2 is clearly ready to go. Part of the trailer leaked like months ago. So what's going on with Helldivers 2? What's going on with Twisted Metal? What's going on with Project Bates? And then what about some of the stuff we don't know about at all that hasn't leaked? I just feel like it's time to go.
Yeah. Well, let's look at some data here. So on the State of Play website, you can see all of them since 2019 with when they happened. So I'm just going to read through when they happened. Okay. Starting with March 25th, 2019. I'll just say the month. Here's when State of Plays have happened. March, May, September, December, February, April, May, July, October, February, October, February, March, and then June 2nd, 2022. So, and
Wait,
it
there
looks
was
like
a March to March?
yeah, that was March 9th, 2022. And then the one after that was Hogwarts.
Okay.
So there was a specialized state of play.
They
which
have
they've done.
said nothing. That's your point.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it seems like there are a few random June, like I'm trying to figure out, let me see when that June was, or July 8th, 2021. That was actually a Deathloop focused state of play. So let's not even count that one. But I think the clear point is that Sony really seems to ramp up in the spring and the fall. So I would expect there to be something else within like pretty soon, like you're saying, Colin, in 90 days. But then I expect they don't want to share the summertime with anyone else. They want exclusive eyes on them. And so I would expect something soon where we can kind of detail the rest of the year and maybe a little bit of next year. And then there was no showcase last year at all, which is, I think at the time we were really expecting something at the time. But if there is a big showcase, I would think that would be September, kind of after the E3 season or whatever we want to call it. And then so yeah, I would expect something soon, maybe not a showcase, but another state of play, kind of like I said, detailing Spider-Man. Maybe we get more Silent Hill info, stuff that we already are mostly aware of. And then the blowout one is September or October even.
Could be right. I mean, for me, I feel like May is safe. I feel like, and I think maybe you do it in two bursts, like you're noting, like Spider-Man 2, Factions, Helldivers 2, Final Fantasy 16, and maybe a couple of odds and ends in the spring. Show those off in a deep way with some new announcements, blah, blah, blah. Second half of the year, to your point, this is when I think you talk about Wolverine. This is when I think you talk about maybe what's next from this studio. We have a bunch of these second party kind of things culminating in inevitable announcements of games as a service. We don't know where those are going to fit in as well. We don't know if Factions is going to be the first one of those as well too. So I'm very interested to see how this all goes, but I think that I feel like they are part of their viewpoint has to be reinforced by seeing games sell so well and them saying so little. And I don't think it's the crude finances of it. I don't think they give a shit about how much they're spending on, for say, advertising a game. I think what they care about is like, is what we're doing working? Is there a certain je ne sais quoi, like some sort of mystique around PlayStation because it says so little? The less we say, the more we sell. We are saying nothing, and we're selling 400% more consoles this year than we are last year.
Yeah,
so why would we say anything? And there might be something to that.
Well, they're selling a bunch of early PS5 titles that didn't really have a chance to sell because there weren't really many people buying the machine or able to come across the machine. So those sales are doing well. And they also run the risk of kind of shooting themselves in the foot if they say something. If they say anything during this merger situation. I think the merger situation really fucks everything up as far as like scheduling, which is why like I feel like the timing of these showcases and state of plays might be a little bit unconventional, and what might be in them might be a little bit tailored specifically for the environment that the legal fight is happening in. And so for me, it's like, I don't know, I could see like a state of play going super soon, but like a full on proper showcase, if we get one at all, I would be, I'd bet alongside with Dustin, like I would guess like September or like late August or something like that, like something like really like on the cusp of. I would imagine you get it before Spider-Man 2. I think you would show, like, I don't think you're going to get a showcase after Spider-Man 2 comes out necessarily. At least not like,
but surely
like
we agree. Surely we agree. The three of us, anyway. Spider-Man 2's got to be shown soon, right? I mean, that has to be shown,
in some capacity,
and dated,
Yeah. I would bet that it'd be dated probably in whatever the next thing we get is. Like, be that whether it's a state of play or like a whatever. I think the next thing we see about Spider-Man 2 will be a release date.